welcome and thank you for joining an episode of Catching Up with Carter. This is his second season on Spotify, and he plans on making this season just as exciting as the last. For any business inquiries such as show sponsorship, content, commercial production, or anything else, please contact Carter at catchingupwithcarter@gmail.com. That's catchingupwithcarter@gmail.com. Now, get ready for your show in 3, 2, 1. Let's go! Hello and welcome to episode 119 of the Catchin Up with Carter show right here on Spotify and Anchor. And some episodes are on YouTube as well. Please follow me if you're not already on YouTube, Catchin Up with Carter and fam. You'll see the same logo as I have here on Spotify and Anchor, as well as follow me on Instagram too. And I do have a Facebook page. I don't operate too much with there, but I do some. But I am wrapping up this season and only have a few more left tonight and one more to hit my goal of 120. And I'm shooting for 200 for next year, so 80. So keep that in mind, folks. If you have a talent or an interesting story or know somebody that does, or maybe you are a band or a venue or an event or a museum. I mean, folks, I'm trying to talk about whatever. Okay, so if you could please shoot me an email at catchingupwithcarter@gmail.com. I'm always looking for content, folks. And I'm always looking for sponsors too, so keep that in mind, anybody out there. I also produce and write the commercials. I'll do some for you for a very low amount. You could have a commercial $10 per episode or $25 for the whole month, and I average one a week and plan on doing maybe 2 or more next year, but we'll see what brings us. So for this episode, I am bringing back a friend of mine that I met a few years back in Rochelle, Illinois, Mr. Peter Moore. Excuse me, Peter Moore. He is a great guy. He's a rail fanner, a big person that really is interested in trains, and he chases them and gets some amazing photos. There's another thing he's a part of is photography. And he's got a couple different groups on Facebook to follow, as well as his own handles. So we'll talk about that. But I always catch up with him a few times. I think will be our 5th one that focuses just mainly on Peter Moore and things that he has coming up next year, as well as stuff he experienced this year in 2024 in rail fanning, photography, life in general. You know what I mean? So you can tell I've been voice to texting a lot because I'm putting the comma part in there. But anyway, so we're going to talk with Peter. 5th time solo, and then he also co-hosted one time with the Illinois Railway Museum, which was another good one, so go back and check that out. But be sure to share this and follow me in all these places, please do. And in a few moments we'll be back with rail fanner, photographer, lover of many things, Mr. Peter Moore. Can't wait to catch up. Talk to you soon. Do you own a business, provide a professional service, or know someone who does? Advertise right here on this podcast. Packages as low as $10. The Catching Up with Carter show so far this year has over 15,000 listens with an average of 200 per episode and is increasing, y'all. Some shows are local while some are national. Imagine how many people will listen to this. The Catching Up with Carter podcast is aired at least once a week, if not more. Advertise with Catching Up with Carter, and all your shows will be written and produced to your liking, of course, as well as an MP3 copy will be provided for your personal uses, filing, heck, even for your scrapbook for those that like scrapbooking. Advertise for $10 for one episode, or $25 for the whole month of episode. Are you interested? Email catchingupwithcarter@gmail.com. Help me help you. right, welcome back, everybody, to episode 119, and welcoming back for the 7th time, I was just told, Mr. Peter Moore. Hi, Peter.
Hello, how's it going?
Man, good, dude. So, since it's just a few days after Christmas, did you get anything exciting on your gifts, man?
Yeah, I got one of my favorite games growing up as a kid for Christmas, Risk. I don't know if you ever played the game Risk.
Oh, yeah, man, it's been a while, though.
I'm a big board game. I like playing old board games, and yeah, I got that for Christmas. That was probably the best gift, my favorite gift, I guess I got.
Did you get any socks?
No, but usually I ask for socks every year, but I got so many that I didn't need any this year.
Oh, you stocked up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good. Okay. Do you have, one thing I like about you, following you on Facebook, is you always post interesting things that you do and try, foods, drinks, whatnot, whatever. So I don't know, I haven't been stalking your page lately, but what are some things that you do during the holiday season that you have to eat or drink or go to? What are some things that you do around Christmas that you?
Well, one thing I did, which is the big common one, every year I make it a tradition. I get eggnog. I'm a big eggnog drinker. I wish they made that all year round, but
me too. It's so good.
It's really good. But yeah, I get eggnog. Nothing really too spectacular for Christmas wise. Besides eggnog, I mean, more like, if anything, tradition. It's really not food. It's to go see lights and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not really too much food stuff. Halloween would be a little more different. But
yeah. Well, since you brought up lights, I have to give a shout out to Rockford Park District. I drove through the Festival of Lights, of course, and that's always decent, but what they did along the river where you can walk along those lights is just beautiful. Man, I saw it after a snowfall, and boy, that is just so nice right now, man. By Nicholas Conservatory, it's beautiful.
Yeah, they've been adding more and more every year. Like I said, this year they added quite a bit more. It seems to get bigger and bigger every year. Yeah,
man. So, yeah, for
another place to check out if you're in the area is Woodward Governor. They do a pretty solid light show, but the place that I went to that was bigger than Rockford's, and from the time we started in line till we finished, it was so big it took 45 minutes from start to finish. Go to LaSalle, down on LaSalle, you can't miss it. You're on 39, you'll see it on the right.
Somebody told me
they have it
that.
Every year. It is huge, and it's not that far from those of you listen. I know there's quite a few followers that are in Rochelle that follow you on here. It's not that LaSalle's not that far from Rochelle. Maybe 30, 35 minI
love LaSalle. Yeah, LaSalle, Peru.
Cool
I like it over there. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of cool stuff. Like I said, it was probably 3 times as Rockford's. I mean, it was not that Rockford's was bad, because it wasn't really good, but LaSalle's was just bigger, and it was really cool.
Well, I'll have to check it out. I don't know if it's still going on, but I'll have to check it out next year, I guess.
They are actually till New Year's.
Okay, there you go, folks. If you want to see a good little lights, you still in the spirit. I like to see stuff. Hopefully another light snowfall or a heavy one. I'm mad I didn't get photos today because I love random weather and days that are foggy. I just love to hold on one second. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. We had a brief interruption for my beautiful daughter. She woke up and is watching TV right now. She, by the way, is the ending for all my recent podcasts. She does the ending part, so I'm so proud of her. Anyway, so Peter, I hit you with some questions through text. What are some things you did this year, both in photography or just in general, that are some highlights?
Well, photography-wise, I actually, just this past weekend, I went and photographed Chicago, Metro and Amtrak. It was actually some all different places. 16th Street in Chicago and Roosevelt Street Bridge. It's all, you can see the skyline and stuff. You're photographing the trains by the skyline.
Oh, I can't wait to see these photos, man.
And on 16th Street, you have it's a diamond there, but you have the city skyline, and you have the old Rock Island tower that is still used to this day. Right now, it's still active.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see. Then we went to these were all my first time. I've been to Roosevelt before because I've been to Chicago one other time, but that was a cool place. And we also went to Western Avenue, and it's another Amtrak metro station, or it's just Amtrak metro, and it's got the UP metro line and the CPKC metro line there, and they have the old searchlights still up. They haven't gotten rid of them yet, so we because a lot of railroads are upgrading. Like Rochelle used to have their bridge lights and searchlights. They don't anymore, but they still have them over there. So I got the photographed new stuff over there. Because Metro, they bought a bunch of 70 Max and built them up and painted them. So I got to see a lot of the newer Max and one of their new G15s. But that was actually a really cool experience because a crazy thing happened while we were there at Western Avenue, which has never happened to me before. I saw 4 locomotives that I've never seen before within 5 minutes.
Whoa, that's dope.
Like 4 units I needed. It was pretty crazy. I saw 3 Metro and 1 Amtrak unit I needed within 5 minutes.
Dang. Check. That's really cool. Or check.
Yeah, and the whole day I saw 6 units. I got 6 units off my list, and I've never gotten that many off in one day. I got 3 Amtrak units I needed and 3 Metro that I've never seen, and it was really cool. Which I'm glad I got the 1 Amtrak unit because it went down the next day. So I don't know if it's going to come back or what's going on with that, but that was really cool. That was just a fun day in general, just photographing the skyline. And we also went and saw the Holiday Owl train.
Okay.
I just got a photo because we didn't make it in time to get a video. He was already there, but I was able to get pictures, and then they took off. Didn't get to see the CTA Holiday bus because that was running around too. We didn't have time to see that, but that was running around. And then on the way back, we actually stopped in Elgin, and Metro had their holiday train. They had it sitting in the yard, and I didn't want to drive in the yard, but I found another way, like we weren't on their property or in the woods. Mm-hmm. So I kind of went back in there and got a photo of the Metro Christmas holiday train. So that was just a really great day. It was mainly all passenger stuff, but it's a lot of fun because normally, if you see my videos, it's mainly freight stuff. So it was kind of cool for a little bit of a change to go see passenger stuff for once.
Yeah, man, no, that's cool.
So that was a lot of fun. The other thing that I've done recently that's a lot of fun, because besides going out and photographing trains, I like abandoned stuff. I think I've mentioned that before.
Yeah, me too. I do
on
too.
Our podcast.
Yeah.
And I've been really digging into the Chicago, Milwaukee, and Gary. They used to come to Rockford, and that line's not talked about much. You'll see a lot of people talk about the old Chicago Northwestern Katy line that used to go through. You'll see people talk about the old Milwaukee Road, which is now CPKC, or the old BN line, which is IR, or the old IC line, which is CN. But nobody or they talk about other band lines, Chicago Great Western, Rock Island. Those are, you probably heard of those railroads. They're talked a lot about.
Yeah, of course.
Chicago, Milwaukee, and Gary is one of them lines not talked about much, and the biggest reason is it's been one of the railroads that's been abandoned a long time. I mean, it got. I don't remember the exact day. I had it written down, and when I made the post, it was like don't quote me on this, but it was like early 1930s. It got abandoned, so it was before my grandpa's time. Like this.
Yeah, almost 100 years.
Right. Now, part of the line was still active in the 90s and early 2000s, but it's not anymore. But the line went from Aurora to Rockford, and it went through DeKalb, and is another big town that people know. It went through DeKalb and across, because there's multiple lines in DeKalb. Back then there were railroads everywhere before China, and before all the semi trucks and
right,
all that,
oh yeah.
But no, it's there. I just went there and just photographed, and I learned new things. Just following the line and learned, and I lived in Rockford, grew up in Rockford. Even to this day, I'm still learning stuff and just learning, that they didn't know this, but they had a depot on 7th Street in Rockford, and it's right by the creek over there, and that's where the Chicago, Milwaukee, and Gary, and they actually did a circle around the whole town, so they could go 2 different ways to go. When they get into Rockford on the Harrison, they could go, it was like a Y. They go to the right or they go to the left, and they basically circled around, and then they go back towards Aurora.
No
but
kidding.
It's really cool. And part of the track, actually, and I didn't know this, and I lived in Rockford all this time, so I knew that part of the tracks were still in place in certain areas, but I kid you not, they still to this day with the wires still in there, not active, but they had one of the old railroad crossings boxes, that activate the lights. It still is on. I'm trying to remember what road that is. I want to say that's Black. No, not Black. Yeah, Blackhawk on Blackhawk Road.
Okay.
They still have the crossing box. It's still just sitting there, just rusting away. Like they didn't take it or anything, which is kind of cool to see something like that, just like railroad history, just sitting there like that. But that was kind of cool. Like all this time, I didn't even notice it until I was looking, and because they've been knocking weeds down and trees down, and I saw it, so it was really cool to see that. But that's what I've done recently. In the last couple months, I've been doing a lot of holiday stuff recently, going for Christmas trains. We had a couple steam engines recently over the summer.
Yeah.
Big Boy came to Rochelle. CPKC had their Final Spike tour train, if you remember that. Went through Byron and went through your town and Leaf River.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned that. And then they had the Halloween haunted train ride in Freeport.
I didn't do it,
really
and I was
cool.
offered a ticket, and I didn't do it, and I was salty I missed it, but I had a day with my kids. I know, I will. I do. I have that down in my notes. I wanted to mention that. I'm real thankful that you connected me with John, and then who connected me with Steve. I went there for Pancakes with Santa, and it's a nice little museum, and I can't wait to learn more about it and walk through it. But I definitely have to go for some train days, because he tells me what he operates, and I'm like, I got to check this out.
Right. Well, the thing about that is, like I said, it's really cool. So they always do it every year, the last 3 Saturdays in October. That's how they do it every year.
Right. So
those of you that are interested in, and can plan ahead, put that in your calendar books. So that's a pretty frequent schedule. I went to Union, which Union's always cool. They always got new stuff every year, which they did.
Yeah, I'm about due for a trip. I've been about due.
Well, they're closed now for the year.
Yeah.
They don't open back up.
May, right?
Usually it's in April.
Oh yeah, yeah. Easter weekend.
They'll have a couple days, but they lit up. They went even more. They went even more crazy with their Christmas lights this year. Because last year, normally for years they were just doing like the Christmas train, just the Christmas train by itself. Well, last year they lit up the steam engines that they have out there that they don't use, that are are not runnable. They lit so it's kind of like if you had a train around your Christmas tree, like the old Christmas trains, decorations you'd have,
Uh-huh.
and they decorated the steam engines, and they did that again with the lights were a little different, but they also one of the, because they have like the different number of barns they have. Well, in one of the barns, they went crazy with the lights on the trains in there. That was the first time they did that this year. They've gotten more volunteers and stuff than they have previous years.
You got some pictures too?
You said what?
You got some pictures of it?
Yes, I did. If you go to my page, and if you go to, Union Train Museum also has a Facebook page that
I think I follow them.
Interested. They have their page that you can go and see photos, but I shared them on there. I shared them on my photograph page, which is Peter Midwest Heads Up photography page. I also posted them. If you're not in that group, I posted in the Rochelle area group. There's a Rochelle Friends and Neighbors, I think it's called. They're in there as well. But yeah, it was really cool. They even had like little blow up things, like they had like the Minions in there and some Frozen characters in different spots. The Grinch. But yeah, it was actually really cool. They really went far out this year. So if you didn't go, you definitely missed out. But they're talking about doing some even more next year. So that was really cool. Yeah, that's what I've done recently in the last few months since the last time we talked. I haven't been doing a whole lot of train stuff. I've still been doing train stuff, but I've been busy with work, and I'm looking for a new job. As you knew, we last talked, I was living in Rock City, and I lived there for over a year. I actually moved back in my hometown area. I'm now in Chesney Park as of November 1st, so I moved, so I had that going on, and also I joined a bowling, volleyball, and darts league as well, so I kind of...
Of course you do, your ass is busy.
So I don't have as much time for trains as I once used to. I still go out. It's still going to always be my passion, photography. Right now I'm a little limited. I mean, and with the holidays recently, I haven't been out as much as I normally am. So,
right.
But a lot of cool stuff going to be doing next year, since I knew you were going to ask me that question.
Yeah.
I actually plan on me and my friend Patty, and her son Zach. Her son Zach's really big into trains, and I think you met her. You met them because you were at my birthday. You came to my birthday party last year. They would have been there.
Yeah, twice.
But we're gonna go. We plan on going to see the Polar Express, the Pre-Marquette steam engine. So it's in Michigan, and it was the steam engine that was in the Polar Express movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen it and would really like to see it. So that's one of the
Where's that at?
Things. Oh no, I don't even remember the name. I'd have to get back to you on that. I always forget the name. I'm bad with that. Okay. But I know it's in Michigan. It's not too far from. It's not too far from Detroit. Yeah, I think it's about an hour from Detroit. I'll get back to you on that the next time.
Sure,
if we get a chance to do a podcast in the future again.
Yeah. You can Google it. Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing. Actually, I can do that while I'm talking to you. But anyways, the next thing I want to do is I want to go to Cherry, Illinois. They got a museum there. So I'm trying to remember the year it was, but they had a big coal fire down there. It was the Milwaukee Road, which ended up causing that line to go abandoned, but people were caught in the fire down there.
Oh my land.
Yeah. Yes, and they were there is
Wow.
I was talking to one of my buddies of mine, and he was talking to people down there, and I guess they were actually singing down there when they were stuck in the fire.
Wow.
You could just hear them all singing, which I thought was kind of crazy. But it was in it was on November 13th, 1909. They had it was called the Cherry Mine Disaster, and it was just a huge the coal plant caught on fire, and that's hard to put out. So
that's crazy, dude. That's horrible.
Yeah, they had a huge fire, and they have a museum all about it. And I'm a big history guy, so I really want to check that out. And
where's Cherry, Illinois?
It's south of Mendota, so there's actually
not too
same
far
Milwaukee
away.
road. Yeah, same Milwaukee road line that same line. So they, remember? I think I told you that. Not to get sidetracked here, but I told you that the IR abandoned their line from Flag Center to Davis Junction. So they had trackage rights on the BN, and because they only go as far as Davis Junction, but they had trackage rights to go to. They went up to Flag Center on the old BN, which would have been CB&Q back then, and then they went to the CB&Q line through Rochelle. They went across the Diamonds, and then at Stewart, they cut off and got it back to their own track, and then they went straight up, and they met up. They got actually paralleled the Illinois Central Gruber line, and they had a diamond. So there were three lines at one time going through Mendota. You would have had the which is now BNSF. You would have them, the IC, and the Milwaukee Road, and they split off, and they went down to Cherry, Illinois to that's where they delivered the coal. So it's just south of Mendota. So it's not too far. But yeah, they used to deliver coal trains. Back then there were, like I said, there were railroads everywhere, and what was I saying? Yeah, there were tracks everywhere. I used to think Rockford was a big spider web. Like, 'cause I talk about Rockford a lot because I grew up there and I like the history. But it's like everywhere. It was like a big spider web everywhere with train tracks. There were railroads everywhere. Because that's how back then. That's how we did everything. Everything was run up by train.
Well, Lois is high.
But yeah. So I got that going on. I like to go. I'm planning on going back down to like Southern Illinois and Indiana, because next year, which will be late next year again. But I want to go see the INRD Christmas train again, because the first time, I don't know if you remember this, but the first time we ever did a podcast together, that's where I just came back from, which has been about 2 years now.
Hold on.
But yeah, I'm trying to look in while we're talking here. I'm trying to find out where that museum is, because I've never been there and I haven't done too much digging into it yet. But
go ahead. All right, so sorry about that, folks.
So back to what I was saying. So as we were on a commercial break there, I did some digging, and it's called Owasso, Michigan. Owosso. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Owasso. But that's where the steam engine from the Polar Express is at.
Yeah, that's cool to know. That'd be interesting to see.
And speaking of the Polar Express, those of you that don't know and like Christmas movies, in 2025, next year for Christmas, Polar Express will be coming out with the sequel.
I wonder, because you mentioned that kind of briefly before.
There's a bunch of Christmas movies coming out. Not that those of you you want to talk a little bit about Christmas movies like trains. Elf is coming out with the sequel.
No shit, I didn't know that.
It'll be Elf. There'll be a couple movies. So there'll be Elf, Polar Express 2, Frozen, if you want to count that as a Christmas movie, and then Charlie Brown is supposedly coming out with another movie.
Man.
And Jim Carrey's coming out of retirement and is going to be in the new Grinch movie as well. There's going to be another Grinch movie. So there's going to be some cool stuff for next Christmas. There's going to be quite a bit of Christmas movies coming out. But that'll be, I'm really looking forward to that. But anyways, back to what we're saying. So yeah, that's what I pretty much got planned. I usually go to Iowa and check out new places. I actually would like to go to, I'm planning on going to Manly, Iowa, because as I think we talked about that in our last podcast, but maybe that event didn't happen yet. But the Iowa Northern, which is, we're still waiting on the board because they were supposed to make a decision and they didn't yet. But CN was supposed to take over the Iowa Northern. So I plan on going out there because the guy that owns Iowa Northern actually has 2 Rock Island F units sitting in Manly, Iowa, in the back of his yard, and they the railroad tracks are back there too because Iowa Northern uses it because it's still Iowa Northern as of right now because they're still waiting for the approval. Kind of like the same thing that happened with CP and KCS merger. It took forever for them to finally merge together because they had to get all the approval and stuff. But anyways, they have some old Rock Island F units, which is pretty darn cool to see. There used to be railroads everywhere, so I'm going to go to Manly and see that and maybe check out a few other places. And a couple other museums I'm going to check out. Going to go to Green Bay this year, Green Bay Museum.
Nice. I've always wanted to go there. I'm a Packer fan,
Yeah, just to be funny here, if I go to Green Bay Museum, I'm just going to take a picture of me flipping them off.
Yeah, you'll probably wear a bunch of bear attire in there, too.
Yep, right. I'm bear down, even though we're not doing so well this year.
Yeah, they're down.
Anyways, I'm also going to go to Fort Wayne Museum because I didn't get to that like I wanted to, but I'm going to put that in the books. But something that I'm really excited about that's not train related that I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on going to Wrigley Field for the first time.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, it's a nice place. I've been there once.
I've never been to a Chicago. I'm a big Chicago fan. I've never been to any stadium. So Wrigley Field is first on my list.
That's an iconic thing. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Soldier Field's second. But, yeah, because I got a couple years for that before they move stadiums. But that's what I'm really excited about is going to Wrigley Field because as people know, I'm big into trains and stuff. And we've mentioned it, but that's not even in photography. But that's not even my number one hobby. Sports is. So
that's right.
I got a lot of hobbies, but yeah,
that's
what I'm really looking for. Hey, it keeps you busy and it keeps you out of trouble.
Yeah, man, I love it, dude. There's really nothing you don't do.
Yeah, I like a little bit of everything. But yeah, so I'm always willing to. I like trying new things, Well,
you've never been to a Bears game, huh?
Nope. I've been to a Cubs game, but it wasn't in Wrigley Field. It was actually in Milwaukee when they redid the stadium.
Yeah, that's still cool, though.
Yeah, I got to see that. I got to see them play the Cubs, and of course the Cubs won, so I love that. And then I also got to go down and see the St. Louis Cardinals play the Houston Astros.
Oh, wow.
At the St. Louis, we got won the free ticket, so we went down there. But I wish I went down there and did the arch and stuff. So someday, but
there's so much cool stuff. Yeah, you mentioned Milwaukee.
There's so many cool stuff.
Milwaukee is a dope city too, man. Just to get the murals and. I know it. You're silly, but anyway, yeah. Well, that sounds like an exciting year coming up, my guy. What do you got going on for New Year's Eve?
Well, my dad, as I mentioned before, my dad's stepmom and stepsister live in Tennessee, so they're up here, and we're gonna have dinner at my aunt's, Becky's in McChesney. Be me, my dad, my stepmom, my 2 stepsisters, my grandpa, my step-grandma, my step-grandpa, and my grandpa, and then actually my sister and her boyfriend are going on a date, so my dad and stepmom are gonna get to see my nephew. So my nephew's gonna be actually over there too. He's 1 year old, and I'll see him, and then we're gonna have dinner about 5 till about 9 or 10, and everyone's gonna go home. So I'm gonna go out and do my thing. I think I'm gonna go out for drinks and stuff. I'm actually gonna go down to Rochelle and do some bar hopping with friends. That's pretty much my plan. Nothing too fancy. I just use that day to see friends and family, because friends and family are very important to me. So I try to make time for everybody as much as I can.
Yeah, you really do. That's cool. Yeah. So I have a random question for you. What's your take on all these drones? Have you seen any drones when you've been out and about?
I haven't. I see reports about them all the time, but I never see them when I'm out. They must like to hide from me, I guess. But
they're out by me, man. I've seen several now.
I've seen posts about them. I've seen them all over Rochelle. I've been seeing posts about them in Rochelle, and I haven't really seen anything about here in Winnebago or Stevenson County. I really haven't heard anything much about that, but I've heard a lot about it in like Chicago and Ogle County.
Polo, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Do you know anything about anything?
I don't know. There's a lot of skepticism, a lot of different angles people have been going at, but.
Some people think it's aliens.
Yeah, there are people out there saying that, but there's a lot of weird things going on today, man, folks. I swear. I don't know, this next year, I don't know what's going on, man. It's going to be a wild year, I think.
There's always something weird. It was the bees, and then it was COVID. It seemed like every year there's something crazy new happening.
This is going to be major, I think, but I don't know. I'm hoping for a great year anyway. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
I hope so, because, to be honest... so train-wise was a good year for me this past year, but this year was not so great for me outside of it. A lot of things, not to be negative, but sometimes it's good to talk about. Not everything is so great, in life, But
no, I know, man.
My great grandma passed away this year. I had some friends, that I thought were friends that weren't friends,
yeah, and you had that girl betray you too.
Yeah, I had not to go into detail or talk about drama or anything, but I had something happen to me I never thought would ever happen to me. I had a woman fake that she was having my baby, and I thought she faked that she lost a baby, and I mourned that I had a fake baby that I didn't know about until she came out and blasted and said, yeah, I lied. And it's like, who does something like that? So it's been kind of a roller coaster year. And then I also, as you know, I kind of got, after 3 years of living with roommates, they didn't need, basically they didn't need my money no more after 3 years, and they could make it on their own, and basically out of nowhere gave me 2 weeks to find a place. So I was thankful I have other family and friends.
Yeah.
So I kind of moved in with my uncle, and we split, I helped pay rent. I'm not a bum, I work, but it's like, that really hurt me, because it's like, I just started at Casey's because I was doing some temp jobs, and temps are just not always the answer, because you get bounced around. It's like, I just started at Casey's. Now I've been there since July, and it's like, well, now it's not worth driving all the way to Dakota every day because it's in Dakota. It's a 45-minute drive, only for $14 an hour. I'm like, it's not worth it, and there's way better paying jobs, so I'm probably going to go back to forklift driving, because there's tons of jobs out here. That was the thing. Don't get me wrong. Freeport was a nice town. And Rock City was it's quiet, but the problem is there's pros and cons about that.
Yeah,
the cons
really is.
It might be peaceful, no drama. You don't have to worry about being broken into like living in Rockford, but there's no jobs. And it was very hard. There was more people than jobs, and that was so hard. Even when I lived in Freeport, I was on a waiting list to get Menards, and then when I got Menards, I was working there a year. I worked my butt off. I never got weekends off, and I worked all the time, and I didn't get full time because there was not an option, because everybody was working there, So it was so hard, and there wasn't no factory jobs really in Freeport because everybody was going overseas, So it's like, I didn't want to go back to the Rockford area. I know a lot of my friends and family are happy I'm closer, but it's like, I kind of always hated the area, not just because I think a lot of it has to do, is I mentioned in one of our beginnings, I get a lot of trauma from my childhood here, and I had a lot of bad memories. Not that there wasn't good memories, but a lot of bad memories that I don't like thinking about. And sometimes especially like in the wintertime,
man.
Like, I don't like the wintertime. It's depressing. There's a lot less to do, you know what I mean? And you just start thinking, and then you start thinking about old times, and then that stuff starts going across your mind. It's like, I don't want to think about the past. I want to move on from that, you know what I mean? So, and that's why trains were the whole reason why I think I mentioned in the beginning, one of many reasons I got into trains was my way to get away from.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that, Peter. I do. I think that's a super dope story. That's it's so many different things people do, and that's interesting.
I don't know. People said not to talk about my life and stuff like that. 'Cause maybe people don't really want to hear about that. They want to hear about good things. But sometimes it's not always about. You're not gonna always have. Sometimes you get low points in your life. But it's just I got all I can say is I got through this year. It was a really rough year, and I hope next year is a better year.
Amen to that. I feel that
for not just me, but for everybody, because I know a lot of other people that went through some friends and family that went through bad stuff this year. And I just really hope that everybody has a good year, because just not with this, but in the last couple of years with COVID and just the last couple of years has just been not so great for a lot of people, and I just hope that 2025 is everybody's year. So
yeah, I agree. I love that. That's a really good words of wisdom, or I don't know. That's good. I like that. Wishes, good wishes. I hope so too.
Everybody listening.
I really hope that I win the half a billion. It's 1.3 billion or something like that right now for Mega tomorrow. So
yeah, I know. I work at Casey's, and I kid you not, people were buying tickets. I had people buying 16, 20 tickets at a time, and of course I had to say, everybody that came in there said, don't forget about me, that I. Who was at the register.
Yeah, Peter Moore.
Actually, funny thing, I had a lady, an older lady, she came in and she wrote me and my boss and the cook's name down, and she said if she wins, she's coming back. She wrote all of our names down. So it's I was like, well, I hope she wins.
Yeah, that'd be tight, man. Well, unless I have a winning ticket, I hope so. Well, hey, I'm gonna wrap this up soon. I'm not feeling too hot right now.
I hope you feel better.
I know, dude. I just got sick a minute ago. But okay, so one last time, what's a way people can follow you on all your handles, my guy?
Yeah. So if you go to Facebook, you can go on my actual Facebook page, just Peter Moore, or if you go to my photography group, it gives you, it's photography, not just trains. You can do sunset, storms, graffiti. It's called Peter's Midwest Heads Up Photography Group. We also do photo contests every month. The winner gets to be the photo of the background group for the whole month. And then we do one every month. So after whoever has the most likes, they get to be the background for the photo group. I also got YouTube. I had to get a new YouTube channel. It's called the Train King 2.0.
Yeah.
But if you want to see some of my older stuff, you go to just Train King. That's my first YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I broke my phone and got locked out of all my old stuff. So you can go on there. I've been busy, but I eventually next year the next time I have a podcast, I should have a Flickr account. A lot of your photographers use Flickr. So those that know Flickr, it's kind of like to me an older it's a lot of your maybe older people than your newer generation used that before Instagram came in about. But Flickr's a cool thing. Definitely check out. Those of you that like photography, Flickr is a cool place to check out people's photos. A lot of your photographers use it.
I should check it out. I haven't checked it out enough either.
But that's pretty much it right now. I do have Instagram, but I really don't use it. So for now, I just use those. I eventually, if I decide to get back on Instagram, I'll share that. But as of right now, I'm not using Instagram right now. So, and you can see pretty much the same photos on my photography group or my page that you can see in on Instagram. You can see it in either place. So, but yeah, check those out, and hope everybody has a great New Year.
Yeah, man, you too, man. Thanks again for catching on for number 7.
Yeah, thanks for having
119, but 7 with us.
You and your family have a happy New Year.
Yeah.
Thank you, listening. Have a great day. Bye.